What is custom directive in Angular? Custom directive allows to extend the functionality of HTML elements in the applications. So in order to create a custom directive in Angular, we have to execute ng generate directive command. So I will go to VS Code, and inside the terminal we have to execute ng generate directive command. So here I will execute ng generate directive and the command name. See, this is the custom directive. We have to register this directive inside the app module. So we have to go to app module, and inside the declaration section we have to register the directive. Once the directive is registered, we have to implement the custom logic. So here inside the custom directive, I will implement the logic to change the background color of an HTML element. So for that, we have to import element ref, and then we have to create a dependency injection, and then we have to create ng on init method. So for that, we have to import on init interface, and then we have to implement on init interface, and then we have to create ng on init. Okay, so once the ng on init method is created, we have to implement the logic inside this method. So here I will change the background color of an HTML elements to red. See, once the logic is created, we have to use the selector inside the HTML file. So I will go to HTML file. So here I will create a div element, and here I will use the selector. Okay, after this I will run the application. See, here background color is changing to red. Okay, so I implemented this logic using the custom directive. So this is all about custom directive in Angular. Next, what is host binding and host listener in Angular? Host binding allows to set the properties on elements or components that host the directive. These host binding simplify the syntax of native elements. So I will show example for host binding in custom directive. So this is the custom directive. So here I will remove this element ref, and instead I will use host binding. Okay, and then I will create one variable that should be decorated with @host binding directive, and to this I will pass the property. So here I will pass the background color property. Okay, I will declare a variable, and then I will use this variable inside the ng on init method. So here I will remove this native element logic. Okay, now I will change the color to blue. So after this I will go to the browser. See, here color is changing to blue. So here I use host binding for changing the color to blue. So this is example for host binding in Angular. Next, host listener. It is a function decorator that accepts event name as an argument, and when the event gets triggered on the element, it calls the associate function. So I will show example for host listener. So first I will import host listener, and then here I will create three functions. So to this I will pass event name. So here I am passing click. So when we click on the div element, I will change the color to yellow. So in the same way, I will create another function. Now I will pass mouse over as a event name. So when we over a mouse on HTML element, we will change the color to red. Now I will create another function, and to this I will pass mouse out as a event name. So when we move our cursor away from the element, I will change the color to gray. Okay, so after this I will go to the browser. See, now I will move my cursor on the element, so it should change to red. Okay, see, color is changing to red. Now I will move my cursor away from the element. It should change to gray. See, it is changing to gray. Again, I will move my cursor on the element. It will change to red. Now I will click on the element. It will change to yellow. See, so this is all about host listener in Angular. Next, what is data binding in Angular? Data binding allows to bind the data from the view to component and from component to view. We have two types of data binding, one-way data binding and two-way data binding. What is one-way data binding? One-way data binding is a mechanism by which data flows from a component to view. Angular provides several ways to implement the one-way data binding. So first we have interpolation. So it allows to pass the data from the component to view, which means data flows only in one direction. So I will show example for interpolation. For that I will go to the component class. So here this is a property. Okay, so title is a property. I will use this inside the HTML file. So here I will create one div element, and now I will use string interpolation. Okay, so for that we have to use curly braces, and inside this I will use the title property. So after this I will go to the browser. See, this is the title. Okay, so we are using string interpolation for displaying the property value on the browser. Okay, next, property binding. So it is used to pass the data from the component to view, and it is used to set an element property value with the component properties. So we can achieve property binding by using the square brackets. So I will show example for property binding. So here I will create one button. So now I will disable the button. Okay, after this we will go to the browser. See, here button is disabled. Okay, now I will try to enable the button by changing the value to false. After this I will go to the browser. See, here button should be enabled, but it is not working fine, right? So now I will try to implement the logic using the string interpolation. So for that I will create one property. Okay, I will use this property using the string interpolation inside the HTML file. So here I will use string interpolation. Okay, then I will go to the browser. See, here button should be enabled, but still it is disabled. Okay, so that is because here we are using the string interpolation. So this will return a string, but this disabled property will expect a boolean value. Okay, so in order to overcome this problem, we have to make use of property binding in Angular. So in order to use property binding, we have to use square brackets. Okay, after this we have to remove these curly braces. So after this we will go to the browser. See, here now we can able to enable the button. Okay, now I will try to disable the button. For that we have to set the property to true. So I will go to the browser. See, here it is getting disabled. Okay, so now we are using the property binding to disable the button. So this is example for property binding in Angular. Next, style binding. So it allows to dynamically set the CSS styles of an HTML element based on the value from the component property. So I will show example for style banding. So here I will create one color property and I will assign a value. So after this I will go to HTML file. So here I will create a div element, and here I will use style banding. Okay, so I will change the background color of an element to gray. Okay, so here I will assign the property. So after this I will go to the browser. See, here color is changed into gray. Okay, so now here I will change the CSS property to color. Okay, so now content will change to gray. I will go to the browser. See, here color is changing to gray. Okay, so now I will try to change the value to blue. Now I will go to the browser. See, here it is changing to blue. Okay, so this is example for style banding in Angular. Next, attribute banding. So it is used to bind the attributes of element from the component to view. So prefix should start with attr. So I will show example for attribute banding. In component class, I will create one property with name src. Okay, to this I will assign image address value. So I will go to the browser. So I will copy this image address and then I will assign it to the src property. So now I will use this property inside the HTML file. So here I will create image tag. So here I will use attr.src attribute. Okay, to this I will assign src property value. Okay, after this I will go to the browser. See, here we can able to see the image. Okay, so this is example for attribute binding in Angular. So event binding. So it is used to pass the data from the view to component. So here we have attribute binding, style binding, interpolation, and property binding. So these are the bindings which passes the data from the component to view. But whereas event binding is the one which will pass the data from the view to component. So I will show example for event binding. So here I will create one button. And when we click on a button, we have to execute one function. Okay. So to this I will pass a value. Okay. So this is a value which we are passing from the view to component. Okay. So I will create this function inside the component class. So I will display a message on the browser. After this I will go to the browser, and when we click on the button, see, this is the value which we are getting from the view to component. Okay, so this is example for event binding in Angular. And next, what is two-way data binding in Angular? Two-way data binding allows the synchronization of data between components property and input element in a view. So it means that changes to input elements are automatically refreshed in the component property, and changes to component properties are automatically refreshed in the HTML elements in a view. So I will show example for two-way data binding. So here I will create one property inside the component class. Okay, and then inside the HTML file I will create text box. Okay, and here I will use two-way data binding. For that I will use ng model. So to this I will pass name property. Okay, and I will display this name property on the browser. So after this I will go to the browser. See, here I will type a value. Okay, see, the value is getting passed from the view to the component. Okay, so this is the component property value. Okay, so now I will pass the value from the component to view. So this is the component, and this is the property where I will pass ABC. Okay, so this is the value which will be passed to the HTML view element. Okay, so this is the element to which property value will be passed. So I will go to the browser. See, ABC is the value which we are passing from the component to view. Okay, so this is all about two-way data binding in Angular. So this two-way data binding works only if we import forms module inside the app module. Okay, so this is the module which we have to import inside the app module. So if I try to remove this, then two-way data binding will not work. So we will get an error. See, here cannot bind to ng model since it is not a known property of an input element. Okay, so now I will revert the changes. After this I will go to the browser. See, now we can able to see the value. Okay, So here we can type anything. So this is all about two-way data binding in Angular. Next, water pipes in Angular. Angular pipes is used to transform the data. So pipes will accept the data as an input parameter and it will change to desired format. So below are some built-in pipes in Angular. So we have lowercase, uppercase, percent, currency, date, and JSON. So these are some built-in pipes in Angular. So I will show example for each of them. So here I will create one div element and I will use string interpolation to display the title. Okay. Now I will go to the browser. See, this is the title. Okay. So now I will convert the value to lowercase. Okay. So for that we have to use lowercase pipe. So in order to use pipe, we have to use this tilde symbol. So we have to use lowercase pipe. Okay. So after this we have to go to the browser. See, now it is changing to lowercase. Okay. So now I will convert this value into capitals. Okay. So for that we have to use uppercase pipe. So here I will use uppercase. Okay. So after this I will go to the browser. See, here we can able to see the value in capital. Okay. So now I will show example for currency. For that I will create currency property. Okay. So I will use this property inside the HTML file, and to this I will pass currency. After this we will go to the browser. See, here currency is displaying in dollars. Okay. So this is example for currency. Now I will show example for percent. So instead of using currency, I will use percent pipe. So now it will display in percentage. Here it is displaying percentage. Okay. So this is example for percent pipe. Now I will show example for date. For that I will create one date property. Okay. So after this I will use the property inside the HTML file. So now I will use date. I will go to the browser. See, now we can able to see the date format. Okay. And now I will show the example for JSON pipe. Okay. Now I will use this property inside the HTML file. So here I will use JSON pipe. So after this I will go to the browser. See, this is example for JSON pipe. Okay. So these are all about built-in pipes in Angular. What is parameterized pipe in Angular? Parameterized pipe is used to pass one or more parameters to the pipe which can transform the data. So I will show example for parameterized pipe. So here I will use this currency value property. Okay. And I will use currency. So now I will go to the browser. See, it is displaying in dollars. Okay. Now I want to display it in rupees. So for that we have to pass one parameter. So in order to pass a parameter to the pipe, we have to use colon. Okay. So here I will pass INR. So it will convert into rupees. See, now we can able to see the value in rupees. Okay. So now I will show another example. So here I will create one percent property. Okay. I will use this property inside the HTML element. So here I will create a div. So here I will use percent. Okay. So I will go to the browser. See, here we can able to see it in percent. Okay. So now I will pass one parameter. Okay. See, here we are saying we want to display 3 digits before the decimal and we will display 4 digits after the decimal. Okay. So this is the minimum value and this will be the maximum value that should be displayed after the decimal. So now I will go to the browser. See, here you can able to see the 3 digits before the decimal and 4 digits after the decimal. Okay, so this is example for percent pipe. So these are some example for the parameterized pipe in Angular. So what is chaining pipe in Angular? If we apply multiple pipes on a single element, then it is called chaining pipe. So I will show example for chaining pipe in Angular. So here I will create one div element and I will use string interpolation to display title on the UI. I will go to the browser. See, this is the title. Okay. So now I will convert this title to uppercase. For that I will pass a pipe. Okay. So now I will go to the browser. See, we are converting value into uppercase. So now from this I will pick only this value from the entire value. Okay. So for that I will use another pipe, that is slice. So first this title property will be converted into uppercase. Then after this will be passed to the slice pipe. Okay. So here I will use. So after this I will go to the browser. See, we can able to see only this. Okay. So here first this title value will be forwarded to uppercase. So it will convert this title property value into uppercase and then it will be forwarded to slice pipe. So this slice pipe will pick the value from the uppercase starting from 0 to position 5. Okay. So after this it will display the output on the browser. So this is the output. Okay. So this is all about chaining pipe in Angular. So here I will show another example. So I will use this date value property. Okay. So here I will use date pipe. I will go to the browser. See, here you can able to see the date. Okay. So now I will convert this into uppercase. For that I will pass another pipe. Okay. So here we are passing the multiple pipes on a single element. Okay. So now I will go to the browser. See, it is converting into uppercase. Okay. So this is all about changing pipe in Angular. Next, what is custom pipe in Angular? So custom pipe in Angular allows to create a reusable pipe for displaying the logic inside a view. So to create a custom pipe in Angular, we need to implement the pipe transform interface and then we have to define the transform method. So this method will take the input value and convert it into specific format and returns the value. So now I will show an example for custom pipe. So in order to create a custom pipe, we have to execute ng generate pipe command. Okay. So here I will execute ng generate pipe. Okay, this is the command which I will execute. See, this is the pipe. Okay, so we have to register this pipe inside the app model. So this is the app model, and inside this declaration section we have to register the pipe. So after registering the pipe, we have to implement our logic. Okay, so here I will use the string value and here I will use one code variable. Okay, return type will be string. If the value equal to int, then I will return India. Okay, or else I will return others. So now I will create one property inside the component class. So here I created one property and I will use this property inside the HTML file. So here I will create a div element and I will use string interpolation to display a value. So to this I will pass a custom pipe. So I will go to the custom pipe. So this is the pipe name which I will pass from the HTML file. Okay. So this is the pipe. To this I will pass a value. Okay. So this is a value that we will be passing to a custom pipe. Okay. So now here int is a value that we are passing to a custom pipe from the HTML file. Okay. So this custom pipe will take a value and it will check if the value equal to IND, then it will return IND and it will display on the browser. If it is not IND, then it will display others. Okay. So now I will go to the browser. See, here you can able to see the India. That is because the property value is set to IND. So now I will change the value to IND1. Okay. So now I will go to the browser. It will show others. See. Okay. So this is example for custom pipe in Angular.